Top of the morning to you. Welcome to Happy Cooking with Yvonne Douglas. Today we're going to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day is a global celebration of Irish culture on or around March 17th. It remembers St. Patrick, one of Ireland's patron saints, who ministered Christianity in Ireland during the 5th century. Today we're going to make some delicious sugar cookies, and plus we're going to make a St. Patrick's Day wreath. All on the next Happy Cooking with Yvonne Douglas. So stay tuned. Well, welcome back to Happy Cooking with Yvonne Douglas. Today we're going to make some delicious sugar cookies, St. Patrick's Day style. And let's talk about the ingredients that we're going to need. First, you're going to need 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour. You're going to need 1.5 cups of sugar, 2/3 of a cup of butter. You're going to need 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and you're going to need 2 tablespoons of milk, but I'm using the 2% milk. You're also going to need 2 eggs, and you're going to need 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Plus, let's not forget something super important, and that is our cookie cutter in the shape of a shamrock. So when we come back, we're going to put all these ingredients together, so stay tuned. Okay, so we're back. So we're going to start to mix all our ingredients. So the first thing I'm going to do is kind of put my butter in my bowl here, and I'm going to beat my butter, soften my butter up a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to add my flour. I'm going to put in half at a time. Mix the flour in a little bit with the butter, just a little bit. And I'm also going to add my 2 eggs. And you want to beat this on like a medium, maybe start out a little slow. And you can probably hear the mixer getting a little, it's going a little bit slower. So I'm going to stop it here. I'm going to add my 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm going to add my 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Going to mix that up just a little bit more. Going to also add my 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder. I'm just going to kind of do the half, like that. Mix that. And then I'm going to add my 2 tablespoons of milk. And don't forget, I'm using 2% milk, but you can use regular milk. I'm going to add my rest of my flour. And now we got to add the sugar. Let's not forget that sugar. And once again, I have this on about a medium speed. And you want to mix this very well together. And the dough will be crumbly. We will put it together, and we need to put it in the refrigerator for 2 to 3 hours before we start working with it. I'm going to scrape the sides just a little bit. Okay, so it's been a few minutes and you can kind of hear how the machine is working a little slower now. And it's really coming together. So I'm going to stop it here. And I'm going to take my dough out and put it on a board. And it's going to be all crumbly. It's going to be very crumbly like this. So don't panic when you see that. And let me move this so you can kind of see a little bit better. So it's all crumbly. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just smash it kind of together. Okay. And we're going to put some handy wrap and put it in the refrigerator for about 2 to 3 hours. And when we come back, we're going to start making our cookies, so stay tuned. Okay, so welcome back to Happy Cooking with Yvonne Douglas. So my dough has been in the refrigerator for about 2 hours. And what I'm going to do is I just lightly floured my surface here. And I'm going to roll it out. And you want to roll out your dough pretty thinly. And you're going to preheat your oven to 400 degrees. And on your baking pans, I use this Silpat, and I love using Silpat because you don't have to butter or grease your pans, your baking sheets or trays. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Rolling it out. Definitely want it to be even. And then I'm going to get my cookie cutter here. And this is a Clover cookie cutter. And just start making your cookies. Look at that. How pretty that looks. I'll put that on my baking pan right here, baking sheet I should say. I just love how they look. Then you're going to, when you can't make any more cookies with the cookie cutter, then you're just going to put it back into a ball, and then you're going to roll it out again. And you'll keep doing that until all the dough is gone. Okay, so we're back, and my oven is being preheated to 400 degrees, and we have our cookies all cut out. Now, before I put it in the oven, what I want to do is get a pastry brush, and I just put 1 egg white in here, so egg white from 1 egg, and I added 1 tablespoon of water and mixed it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glaze the tops of my cookie with the egg white and water mixture. And I'm going to be adding sprinkles on top, and I'm using 2 different color sprinkles of green, so 2 shades of green. There's a darker green and a lighter green. And so let me brush this on my cookies, and then we're going to sprinkle the sprinkles on top of our cookies here. Oh, they look so good. Can't wait till they're baked. This will bake at 400 degrees for 8 minutes or until lightly browned. You don't want them too dark. And okay, so I have these with the glaze. I'm going to add some of my sprinkles here, making sure my clovers are very well covered with some yummy and pretty sprinkles. So I'm going to continue glazing my cookies with the egg whites and adding my sprinkles, and then we're going to bake it in the oven once again at 400 degrees for 8 minutes, so stay tuned. Okay, so we're back, so I'm going to see if my cookies are ready. Let's take a look. And yes, they are ready. So I'm gonna take them out of the oven. Oh, look at them, they look so good. They are slightly brown, that's what you want. I'm gonna turn off my oven. And we're gonna put them on this drying rack, and when we return, we're gonna start decorating them, so stay tuned. Okay, so we're back. So we're gonna decorate our cookies, and one thing I wanna tell you is that if you are making really thin cookies, then definitely 8 minutes would be sufficient. But if yours is a little thicker, you probably wanna leave it in the oven for maybe another 2 minutes, 1 or 2 minutes. So anyway, I'm going to ice some of my cookies. Now I'm just gonna buy store-bought icing. You can make your own, but just to save a little bit of time and a little bit of effort, I'm going to use this. Plus I like it because it's in this bottle. So basically I'm gonna show you a couple of different ways that you can decorate it. One way is you can pipe or outline the cookie. This is white icing. And I like, in a sense, that I put the sprinkles on first, of course, to bake it, and I think it gives it a nice green color. You could make icing and make green icing, but I think this way looks a little bit better with the sprinkles. All right, so that's one cookie. Hopefully you can, let me see if I can put up to the camera so you can see that like that. I also have this other icing. Yummy. This is sparkle gel, and you can outline it with this too. This is actually a lighter green. It just makes it fun, makes it festive. You could do something like that. This is also, you can also use this for writing too, if you wanted to write a little message. You can do polka dots, which I might do on this one. Just do some white polka dots. I mean, you could just go crazy decorating it however you want. So I got some white polka dots on this one. That looks really, really cute. So I'm gonna continue decorating some of mine. Some of them I think I'm gonna leave a little plain, just leave it with the sprinkles on it. And when we come back, we'll be all done. So stay tuned. Well, here they are, some yummy St. Patrick's Day cookies. I cannot wait to take a bite of these. In fact, let me just do it right now. Oh gosh, this is good. Yummy. Welcome back to Happy Cooking with Yvonne Douglas. Today we're going to make our St. Patrick's Day wreath. And we're going to use this 10-inch frame. It looks like this. You can buy these at any craft store, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, or even buy them online on Amazon. And they don't cost a lot. You could get 3 for like maybe 20 bucks or something like that. So anyway, this is a 10-inch wreath, but it's going to be a lot larger than this 10-inch frame. You want to put on some pipe cleaners, and so I'm using green because that's the color of my wreath. It's going to be a St. Patrick's Day wreath, so it's going to be green. So the way I did it, I kind of tied on these pipe cleaners, and I put one on the top and one at the bottom. There are a couple of wires in the middle, so I just focused on the bottom and the top. But I did one in each section. These are broken up into sections, so that's what you want to do. After you do that, you want to take a look at your deco mesh ribbon. Now I'm using this really large 20-inch white deco mesh ribbon. I'm going to be using this, and I'm also going to be using this 10-inch right here. This is 10-inch deco mesh ribbon. So, yep, 10 inches. 10-inch deco mesh ribbon. So I'm using the green. So I'm going to be using both of these colors. I'm also going to be using a lot of ribbon. And some of the ribbon that I decided to use, I'm going to use this really pretty green polka dot. This is a white polka dot ribbon on green. And then this is also a polka dot. This one has these metallic little polka dots on it. I thought it was kind of pretty. And I'm going to use maybe a little bit of white. I haven't decided if I'm going to use this white. I really want to use this gold, and it's a very thin ribbon here, so I might use this as a little accents in my wreath. But the main ribbon that I'm going to use is this beautiful ribbon that I got. It's so pretty, from the Expressions company, and it has these shamrocks on it, so I think it's going to look awesome. But this is the main ribbon that I'm going to use, especially for the bow. Also, I talked about Mark Roberts' Elves and Fairies before, but I'm going to show you this one. This is a Mark Roberts fairy. It's called Luck of the Irish. And once again, Mark Roberts is the designer. He makes these elves and fairies. They're really popular at Christmas time, but he makes them for all, like I said, all holidays, all seasons. So he has some Halloween elves and fairies. He has Easter, St. Patrick's Day, stuff for Valentine's Day too. So this is a fairy, the one that I showed you on our first section, or first part of our St. Patrick's Day special. That was an elf. This one is a fairy, and they come in these beautiful boxes. They're collector's items. And then this is my Mark Roberts fairy, and he's really cute. He almost looks like a Santa Claus, to be quite honest, in the face, but you can tell it's an elf or a fairy. And he has these wings. And so I'm going to spread out the wings, and these wings are very posable. Same with his arms. You can pose him any way you want. This one's really pretty because it has a, look at this, it's a 4-leaf clover he's holding. Actually, it's a 3-leaf clover. I thought it was a 4-leaf clover. But anyway, he's holding a clover, and look at this detail on here. Such beautiful detail, and the fabrics that he uses is really high quality. So they're really, really beautiful, but I'm going to be using him in my wreath. And like I said, you can pose him any way you want. How cute is that? So he's going to be going on our wreath too. Now with him, I am not going to hot glue or anything like that, or glue him onto the wreath. He's going to be wired, because I may not want him on that wreath always, so I can take him off and reuse him. So I'll be showing you how to do that too, in case you are making a wreath and maybe you don't want to put something on that wreath that is really expensive and leave it outside, or whatever it might be. But I'll show you how to do that, and let's get busy. We're going to start making our St. Patrick's Day wreath. Stay tuned. Well, now we're going to make the sign for our St. Patrick's Day wreath. So what you need is a wooden sign. I got this one off of Amazon. It has this rope attached to it, but we don't need the rope. So I'm going to cut that off. Just snip that off and discard the rope. And so here's my sign. And what we're going to do is we're going to get some white acrylic paint, and we're going to paint our sign white. Okay, so we're back. So we're going to paint our sign here. And so I'm just using some white acrylic paint, and I'm just going to paint the entire thing. You want a really thick brush, so this way it kind of goes on faster. And the reason why I'm choosing white is because my wreath is going to be mainly green. I will have a little white in my green, but this sign should make it pop. We're probably going to do the letters in black, and then we'll have our little, maybe we'll add a little 4-leaf clover to it, maybe, we'll see. But I'm just going to paint my sign. Now you only have to paint the front, you do not have to paint the back. No one's going to see the back. So really just paint the front of your sign and you should be good. Okay, now since this is wood, you could put a little primer on it. I'm not, just for time's sake, and but I probably will put a second coat on once this dries. So when we get back, I'm going to show you how to do the stenciling. Stay tuned. Okay, so we're back, and we're going to work on our stenciling now for this plaque that's going to say Begorra. So these are the stencils that I got off of Amazon, and you can buy these at craft stores too. But I'm gonna place this. Now Begorrah, Begorrah, that's 8 letters. So I'm gonna use a capital B, and then the rest of my letters are gonna be small. All right, so let's get started. So I'm gonna use my black paint, and let me dip my brush in here so you can see. Have just some black acrylic paint. And I'm going to place the B, let's see, let's place it right over here. All right, that looks like a good spot. And I'm just going to, now I did paint my sign white, but I added just a tinge of gray because I didn't want it to be a bright white, a white. So I added a little gray to it too. So basically I'm just painting over my B with my acrylic paint. And you don't want to move it. You want to make sure it has a nice coat of paint so it shows up well. And then you're going to lift it. And then I have my B. All right. So I'm going to continue with my letters. My next letter is going to be E. So I'm going to place it right here. Be careful not to touch the letter before it. And I'm going to just stencil that on. Nice coat of paint. Release it, and there you go, there's the E. See how it's turning out? So I'm going to continue doing these, and when I'm done I'll show you the finished product. Okay, so I finished my sign, and it says Begorrah, and I'm going to let that set for just a little bit, and then I'm going to fine tune it. I'm going to go back and kind of fix it up just a little bit and add some things to it. So when we come back, our sign will be done, and then we're going to go back and continue working on our wreath. Stay tuned. Okay, so let's start, and I have my wreath here. I'm gonna move my deco mesh for just a second. And what you wanna do is all the ones that are facing or on the inner circle, you want them pointing inwards, and then the ones on the outer circle, you want them pointing outwards. All right, so it's just gonna make it easier for you when you start doing or making your wreath. All right, so I'm gonna start with the inside first and work my way on out. Now this is pretty large deco mesh, so what I do is I fold it just a couple of times inward, and then I'm going to crunch it in, just like that. Just like that, okay? And I'm going to puff it just a little bit, poof it. Puff it, poof it. And then I'm going to tie it right here with my pipe cleaner. And you want to tie it tight. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it over to this end, just like that. And make it about that thick. And then I'm going to tie it onto the next one. So really when you look at it, you probably have about an 8-inch poof. And so I'm going to keep going. Remember, going to bring it over. And I'm working, like I said, in the inside first. And you do want your poofs to be pretty much the same size. You don't want one smaller than the other. So I'm going to check mine. That's why I'm wearing a tape measure around my neck. Yeah, this is about 8 inches. And then I'm going to do another one. And I like to kind of fold mine inwards a little bit too. because sometimes it will fray a little bit and you don't want that catching onto anything. All right, there's my other one. Got one more here. Remember, fold it in a little bit, poof it, and then tie it. Okay, so that is the inside right now, and now I'm going to work on the outside. I'm going to bring it just right over. Notice I'm not cutting anything yet. And I'm starting with white, by the way, because I want my wreath to be mainly green. The white is just going to be like a little accent. All right, so we have just the basis going around here. Now I'm going to add my green back. So now I'm going to get my green, and I'm going to use my rotary cutter, and I'm just going to cut about 15 inches. This is a 12-inch mat, so 12 plus add 3 more. And I'm going to cut some 15-inch strips. When you have a rotary cutter like this, it just makes it so much easier. So we have, I think we have, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, around 12. We're gonna need 12 of these. So let me see, this is 12, add another 3. So we're gonna need 12 of these. So I'm gonna continue cutting these and getting 12 strips of 15. Okay, so we're making our ruffles, and I just made one. I'm going to add it right here and just kind of tie it with my pipe cleaner there. And the ruffles, let me show you how to do those. So at the end here, you want to make sure you curl this in a little bit, and then basically you're going to scrunch it and make sure this end is also tucked in. And so it should look something like that. And then we're going to just find those places and tie it on. Really easy, just like that. Poof it out a little bit. Look at that, looking great so far. All right, so I'm gonna continue that, and by that time we should finish all our ruffles on this wreath. Okay, so we're back. So as you can see, it's coming together here. There's my wreath. It's looking all puffy and stuff. Now these pipe cleaners that are sticking out, we're going to be cutting them or tucking them underneath. Sometimes I cut them, sometimes I tuck them underneath. So I haven't decided which one I'm gonna do yet, but it's gonna be one of the two. But I really like how it's looking so far. All right, so when we come back, we're going to start making our bows, and we're going to finish up our sign, so stay tuned. Okay, so we're back, and we're going to be making our bow for our wreath, and this is called an Easy Bow Maker. You can purchase this on Amazon. That's where I got mine, and it comes with these pegs, and if your pegs get loose, all you have to do is just tap it in with a hammer. The ribbon that I'm going to choose for this wreath, the St. Patrick's Day wreath, is this beautiful shamrock ribbon. I showed you that earlier. Look how pretty that is. And this is a wired ribbon. You definitely want wired ribbon for the main parts. This is another wired ribbon. This has some glittered polka dots on it. That's green. That's really cute. And then these next two are not wired, but I really like them. I think they're really pretty. This polka dot one. And then I have this gold one. All right, so let's start. This is gonna be my first one, so let me put it on my spool here. And the way you start is you're gonna think about your tail, and I want my tail to be about 12 inches long. So this is 16. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to put and you want the nice side hanging down. So let me check really quick if this is 12 inches. I'm gonna pull it up just a little bit. Yep, there we go. That's about 12 inches. That's what we want. So 12-inch tail, just like that. Then when you bring it over here, you want to twist your ribbon to where the, I'll call it the ugly side, where the ugly side is showing. And I'm gonna make my ribbon about 5 inches wide. And I like the Easy Bow Maker because it has the inches on here for you to see. Makes it very easy. And then you're going to pull your ribbon and put it through the 2 pegs, but you want to make sure that you twist it and have that the ugly side showing again, because you want, when you do your bow, you want the nice sides to be showing. And you want to just do a quick little check and make sure that your bow is about 5 inches. Mine's going to be like 5 1/4 inches over, and that's okay. So mine's 5 1/4 about. And then I'm going to do this one, put it through the peg. See how easy that is? And then once again, twist it and make sure the ugly side is showing. Put it through here again. Measure 5 inches. Yep. And then over here, you want to measure a little over, like 5 inches. It's actually 5 1/4, probably about. It's not 5 1/2. And then put that through here. And then you definitely want, let me see, the tail to be the same length. So I'm gonna go ahead and snip that off. Just like that. Take this off the spool. I won't be using that for this part anymore. And then I'm going to kind of twist these, okay, where I have one up on each side and then the other one is down. Okay, just like that. All right, so it's still in my bow maker. Now I'm gonna use my next one, which is the polka dot one, all right, with the glitter on it. The glitter that goes all over the place. No, I'm kidding. All right, so I'm gonna do the same thing with the tail, and you're gonna put it in, make sure the nice side is showing, make sure it's 12 inches long. Yep, that looks good. And then you want to twist it, have the ugly side showing here, and we're gonna do the same thing. And one more time, we're going to measure it, 12 inches at the bottom, snip it, take it off the spool, and just fluff up my bow a little bit. Now I'm going to add my polka dot, the one that is not wired. And this one's just a little bit lighter in color. When you're doing this, you really want to think about color too. So I know a lot of this is green because it's St. Patrick's Day, but if you notice, the ones down here, this one I started with has a little bit of glitter on the shamrock, so that kind of brings and ties into this one. And this one's also sheer, where this one is solid. So this one, I'm bringing the polka dots in, and I'm gonna do the same thing, put on my spool, like that. Now the only thing, this one's not wired, but that's okay, we could still use it. And I'm gonna still use it. But this time I'm only gonna do one bow on this side and one bow on that side. Okay, so then I'm gonna snip the tail. Looking good. Let me check it just a little bit. All right. Now I'm looking at that and I'm debating whether I should use my gold or not. I'm gonna say no. I'm not gonna use my gold. I was gonna use my gold, but I decided not to. I like the way it looks just like this. So I'm getting a green pipe cleaner, and I'm going to take this out of the pegs, pinch it tight, and I'm going to tie the pipe cleaner around. Okay, just like that. It's looking really good. All right, so now what I want to do is I'm going to cut ducktails or make ducktails, I should say. So you do that by folding your ribbon in half, and then at a 45-degree angle, you just snip it, and it makes, can you see that? Makes a ducktail, just like that. All right, so I'm gonna fold this, do my ducktails here too. Fold this one. .45-degree angle. There we go. Got our beautiful bow. Awesome. That's gonna be on our St. Patrick's Day wreath. We're gonna add that on. Next, we're going to put look at our sign and put it on our wreath, so stay tuned. Okay, so next we gotta work on our tails. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this little whiteboard that I have here, and I'm going to wrap my ribbon. This measures about 9 inches. So I'm going to wrap this around this board here. About 6 times. Okay. And we're gonna cut it. And I'm gonna take it off the board, just like that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it, and I'm gonna do ducktails. So I'm gonna fold it in half, snip, like that, and then do the other side. Fold in half, do my ducktails, and then I have all these already made, so I don't have to cut like each individual one. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so I got 9 of these. Excellent. All right, so I'm gonna continue making some more using the, and then look at my tails. Okay, awesome. So we're gonna be twisting these, and we're gonna be adding them to our wreath. All right, so when we come back, that's what we're gonna do. Stay tuned. Okay, so we're back. So what I did was I got my polka dot, glittered polka dot ribbon, that's sheer, and I got the shamrock ribbon. And what I'm doing is I'm pinching them together like that. And I'm going to add them to the pipe cleaners. So we're gonna tie it tight, do a couple of twists, and we're gonna have our tails going around our ribbon. Now, when you do your tails, you can do your tails longer, where it's going kind of like over your deco mesh. I don't like mine to be that long, I really don't. So I feel like this is a good size. Maybe if you wanted to go a little bit longer would be okay, but I mean, it's really your call. So that's what we're gonna do. We're going to be adding, let me cut something off right here. We're going to be adding this. Let me do another one to show you. So I have my polka dot ribbon, have my shamrock ribbon, just pinch it together, kind of separate them just a little bit so you can see them. All right, and then I'm going to add them to my pipe cleaners. And do a couple of twists, make sure it's on tight. And then you want to fluff them out, separate them, make them look nice. Okay, just like that. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep going, and when I'm done, we'll be finished with adding our tails to the ribbon, and then we'll add our bow, and then our Bigora sign. All right, so stay tuned. Okay, so let me show you what I have so far. So far, here's my wreath, and I got my tails in there. I'm going to be adding, let me put this aside right now, I'm gonna be adding my sign. Now with my Bigora sign here, I'm going to, on the back, I'm going to use these are like electric hooks. Let me see, let me open this package. And they have a sticky back, and we're going to add some pipe cleaners through it. And I also have this rapid fuse. This rapid fuse will, it's just for extra, extra protection, because even if this is sticky and it will stick to it, I just like to be on the safe side and make sure that it will hold. So I'm gonna get some of my rapid fuse and just add a little bit right here. See, it's already sticking to my finger pretty well. I'm gonna put that on there. So we got these on. This is gonna set for just a little bit, and then I'm gonna get some pipe cleaners and I'm gonna run it through, and then I'm gonna attach it to my wreath just like that. Okay. What you could do too is you can do one at a time with the pipe. But I'm gonna try. But I'm gonna try to use just one, and then attach it like that. All right. So it'll be just like that. Okay. And with my Mark Roberts fairy here, Luck of the Irish Fairy. Look how cute he is. Isn't that cute? I'm gonna be adding him, but with a pipe cleaner. I do not want to glue him or anything like that because these are expensive. So he is going to just be on my wreath with a pipe cleaner holding him together. I'll probably use maybe his little belt here to hook it through, and he'll be like on there. But I'm gonna spread out his wings because he is a fairy. And he's gonna be flying on that wreath there. He's holding his lucky clover there. Look at that, how sweet that is. That's cute. All right, and we're gonna be adding both things to the wreath when we get back, so stay tuned. Well, welcome back to Happy Cooking with Yvonne Douglas. So we have our wreath here. It's pretty much done. I'm gonna move some of this stuff out of the way so we can kind of see. So we have, look at that, looks awesome. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attach my bow first, and I'm going to place it. Gotta take a look at my wreath. So I'm trying to position it to where I want the, where I would want it, the bow to be, and I think it's gonna be here. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put it right. I think I'm gonna put it right over here. All right, so I'm gonna attach it right over here. And these, like I said, this has the wire, so all you have to do is just attach it to your wire wreath. So hopefully you can see my bow right here. Just fluffing it up, making sure. Let me move this piece right here. There we go. All right, so there's my bow down here with its tail. See that? All right, so now I'm gonna add my sign, and my sign I'm just gonna put a little, it's gonna be kind of like on the side on top. So I'm just going to get my pipe cleaner, and we're gonna add it to the wire in the back. Okay, so I'm ready for my Mark Roberts, and like I said, I wanna be really careful because these are expensive. So I'm putting a pipe cleaner through, and I'm going to just add him to my wreath down here. Haha, there he is. All right. When we come back, I'm gonna show you the final product, so stay tuned. So here's our St. Patrick's Day wreath. So happy cooking and happy wreath making. Bye-bye.